This first part, letter A, where I'm asking you to think, is very, very important because you got to get a sense of what operation you're going to be using. I can't teach you to think. All I can do is redirect you and say, what's the question asking? If it helps you to kind of visualize in your head a road trip of such and such miles long, you've got to first determine what it is you need to do with these numbers. Otherwise, they're just numbers in a word problem. So what do you have to do? It has to be, obviously, one of the four operations of adding, subtracting, multiplying, or dividing. All right, Ryan, what do you say? How many of you agree you got to subtract? See, that's like, to me, that's like the most important step. Once you know what operation to use, the rest of the stuff is just mechanical. It means it's just kind of routine procedures of how to change these mixed numbers into decimals. So the hard part's done. We're going to subtract. What from what? Ryan, I might as well stay with you.
245 and
7/50.
So 120 and 50.
Okay. Okay, now here's where the hang-up was in my last period. We cannot change them to decimals as is right now. Well, we can with one number, but we can't for the second number. In order for us to utilize the place value system to change these into decimals, our bottom number has to be either 10, 100, 1,000, 10,000. Anything with ones and zeros is acceptable. If it's not, in this case, 7/50 is not. When I was walking around the room in my last class, I said, well, what is 7/50 equal to? And all I got was deers trapped in the headlights. They did not know what to do. And we did it back when we did rainbows and equivalent ratios and fractions. It's rainbows. I know I'm not going to make it 10. Always scale up from what you have. Now you got the perfect rainbow. You've got to figure out what the multiplicative value is and do the same thing to the numerator. What do I got to multiply by? Pat? Right. And you will see you're going to need to do that with at least one fraction of all of the remaining exercises. Then we write it like we say it. So now we have 245. And how do you say this fraction? How do you say it out loud? Ave. 14 hundredths. If you go back to what we did back in this first page, 14 hundredths is how we would say it. So you're going to place it out as 0.14. And then 128 becomes what when you say it? Christian. Which is that?
I think some of this two mixed up. So shouldn't it be subtract 128, 5300, and minus?
Well, you can't. You have to have the larger number first. If I used words for it, I would say subtract 128 5300ths from 245 and 7/50ths. I would have done it, but I just listed as the expression using the math term. Good enough. Okay, let's round. We know the expression 4 or less, let it rest, 5 or more, raise the score. We're going to look at the tenths place, 245 and 14 hundredths. Is that one 4 or less, or is it 5 or more? Christian? So we're going to round 245.14 to what? $245 take away what? What are we going to do with 128 and 53 hundredths? Matty Lokes. We're going to go up because it's 5 or more. We raise the score. All right. Do that subtraction. Tell me what you got. Tio. Be careful. Dave. 116. Want me to show it to you? Borrow 1.
Oh,
15 take away 9 is 6. 3 take away 2 is 1, and 2 take away 1 is 1. Okay. Okay, we have to always line up our decimal when we subtract or add. All right, everybody do that. Get me an exact answer. CJ, go. How much?
61.
How many got 116 and 61 hundredths? The whole purpose of estimating is that these numbers should be very similar. If you don't line up your place values, you'll see that this actual number will be way off. So it's just a little checkpoint to make sure that you're in the ballpark, and we are. So the answer is yes. Now they want us to change it back into a mixed number again. Okay, Ryan.
So 160 and 6100.
Just like we say it. Okay, now as you go through the exercises, just keep in mind, number 2 is nice because that'll work out, although you got to be careful with 900ths. I've seen some mistakes with that. Problem 3, you're going to need to convert this. Problem 4, you're going to need to convert this. And ready? Look what I'm going to do. Don't do 5 because it asks you to use a calculator, and right now I haven't packed up, and I just rather move on. Okay, so you're going to do 2, 3, and 4 in your groups, and then I have an answer key. We'll check, and then you can go on to your problem set.